In this video, I shall lay down my presuppositions and speculations on the nature of female conversion to Orthodoxy. I shall be initially using the July 2024 study conducted by the members of the Orthodox Study Institute entitled Converts to Orthodoxy, Statistics and Trends from the Past Decade, which reveals that there was a considerable gender gap in terms of conversion to Orthodoxy, as there were statistically more males entering the church than females in the last decade. Why is this the case? The central question for this essay is whether female conversion patterns are somewhat similar to men, or do they differ in some relevant areas? In addition to this difference between sexes, we also see that 66% of converts since 2013 are below 40 years, and around 30% are below 30 years. Regarding the family status, the report shows that 44% were single, as in unmarried, at the moment of conversion, while 30% were married but without children, and 27% were married with children. Overall, 37% of the converts did not have children, which would probably overlap with the 66% of converts below 40 years of age to a degree. We then ask if it is probable that the male-to-female ratio in relation to these statistics is the same, as in if, for example, a similar percentage of women below 40 years old convert as the men below 40 do. The report also contains information regarding the religion prior to conversion and the reasons for conversion. Around 65% of the converts were previously Protestant, with only a minority, 15%, Catholic, and the rest being either atheist or other sects or religions. Since the number is so large, we can safely assume that most of the female converts are former Protestants. Moreover, 60% of the respondents stated that the main reason for conversion was theological in nature, 12% due to marriage to an Orthodox spouse, 7% because of the Orthodox spiritual life, and another 7% due to friends or family, with the remainder converting for unknown reasons. No matter how we look at these last statistics, we have to assume that the main reason of conversion for women would be, like in the same of men, theological, as in, they studied the dogmas of the Orthodox faith and reasoned that it was true. A question arises. Is it true that the female converts' reasons for conversion are statistically the same as the men's? Speaking from a common sense point of view, it is hard to believe that to be the case, as anecdotal knowledge dictates that men and women think and feel differently. However, alignment in thinking patterns between females and males can exist and does exist in certain groups, usually isolated or male-dominated fields, where the women aren't numerous enough in order to form their own group, and thus take on perceptions and views of the men due to continuous exposure. As an example, female rulers generally act in the same way as a male ruler would, which proves that cross-gender adaptation is a normal occurrence. That being said, normally, women would have a different outlook on life than men due to obvious biological reasons, but exceptions can exist. Think of the case of prophetess Deborah from the Old Testament, who acted as a judge, the only female one mentioned, in an incredibly difficult time for the nation of Israel. Her authority should not be seen as a divine endorsement of female rulership, but, rather, as an example of what can happen when the mainstream leadership structures crumble, and, due to extraordinary circumstances, exceptions can be made in order to salvage the situation. In conclusion, the first answer for why women have similar conversion reasons as men is that they represent the exception from the general rule and took on traditionally male thinking patterns. An alternative answer regarding the conversion of women to Orthodoxy would imply a more pragmatic and flexible way of reasoning. As previously seen in the Orthodox Research Report, there is a considerable amount of people that converted due to non-theological and non-spiritual reasons, such as marriage to an Orthodox spouse, family, and friends. There is also the unknown other reason group, but for the sake of our argument, we will lump them together with the Orthodox spouse and family pairings. Thus, we have a considerable percentage of people that have joined the Church without necessarily being convinced through reason or faith. As a disclaimer, we do not suggest that this is by any means a bad thing, as each person is different and the way he arrives to the fullness of truth can also be different. Our speculation about these statistics is that there is a disproportionate amount of women choosing to convert due to non-theological reasons than men do. Additionally, even amongst the women that choose theology as being the main reason why they converted to Orthodoxy, there is a social incentive for them to engage in what is considered traditionally a male-centric performativity, such as expressing a keen interest in sophisticated and intellectual matters. That is to say, maybe some females overemphasize the role of theology in their conversion, and maybe other factors counted just as much more. Another interesting idea that could be further explored is the role that dating has in conversion. Presumably, there are fewer female converts that are single than those that are married or even have families, since they would behave differently than men. It would be interesting to know whether the women that are noted as single before conversion had boyfriends that were Orthodox or that were also converting. It is pertinent to note that in nowadays America, there is a sort of pressure for women to act and think like men do, and could face negative attitudes and judgments against them for failing to do so. This could be a potential reason for why women would choose theology as the main reason for conversion, in line with what men choose. While we lack a properly conducted questionnaire, we can offer some anecdotal evidence for this discussion based on our experience from the religious Discord sphere. In the major Christian servers on Discord, the known female members are around a quarter of the total number of known members. The percentage is slightly higher in smaller servers, but not by a lot. If we include other non-Christian religious servers, the number of females is even lower. These statistics show us that overall, there is not as much female interest in discussing theology and religion as there is on the male side. But even if we go deeper into this issue and discuss the certain female individuals from these servers, we can observe a lack of interest in these issues compared to their male counterparts from the same servers. Moreover, some of them are utilizing internet circles in order to find potential mates and are at least somewhat willing to be flexible regarding conversion to their potential partner's religion. Again, all we have to offer is unfortunately anecdotal evidence, but we would like to mention that at the very least, there is not a monolithic group of women that share the same passion for theology that we would imagine it to be. In conclusion, we believe that we have provided additional comments, questions, and insights regarding the phenomenon of women converting to Orthodoxy, and hope that this subject will be analyzed more thoroughly by research institutions that could provide better guidance on how to reach more women in the future. This video is not meant in any way to cast shade on female converts or to evoke negative feelings or attitudes against them. However, as a woman, I would like to know more about the gender differences in the process of conversion to Orthodoxy. We believe that there are plenty of people out there that would be interested in joining, but that are currently unreachable due to lack of efficient methods of outreach. However, if we continue to talk about the subject and make it known to more people, we can come to find an answer as to why these patterns appear, and to better understand women and their decision in choosing the church. In essence, to better understand each other.